So good day everyone. We are here to present our topic. So the task given to us is about value chain analysis. And here are the subtopics you're about to encounter on the lesson. The first one would be the definition of value chain analysis. Definition of value chain, the components and their primary and secondary activities. The three steps on how to conduct value chain analysis. The two approaches on how to perform analysis. And lastly, some examples will be given. So, hope you enjoy the lesson and have a good day. So, what is value chain analysis? A value chain analysis is a visual representation of a company's commercial activities to identify how it might gain a competitive edge. So, what do you mean by competitive edge? So, competitive edge means your advantage over your enemies or rivals, like some companies, for example. Value chain analysis enables a company to comprehend how it adds value to something and as a result, how it may offer its product or service for a higher price than the cost of adding value, resulting in a profit margin. In other words, if they are operated effectively, the value obtained should outweigh the cost of running them. For example, clients should freely and willingly deal with the organization. So, what do we mean by value chain? A value chain is a concept that describes the entire chain of a company's actions in the creation of a product or service, from receiving raw materials to delivering it to customers and everything in between. So, how do value chain works? The value chain framework aids firms in identifying and categorizing their primary and secondary business operations. Organizations can better comprehend these value chain activities, sub-activities, and relationships by analyzing them as a system of interconnected operations. Then, based on the cost, time, and effort required, businesses can review each action or sub-activity individually to see if the output of each activity or sub-activity can be enhanced.
So, in understanding the value chain analysis as a strategy tool used to analyze internal firm activities, its main goal is to recognize which activities are the most valuable to the firm and which ones could be improved to provide competitive advantage. So, in other words, by looking into the internal activities, the analysis reveals where a firm's competitive advantages or disadvantages are. So, the firm that competes through differentiation advantage will try to perform its activities better than competitors would do. So, if it competes through cost advantage, it will try to perform internal activities at lower costs than competitors would do. So when a company is capable of producing goods at a lower cost than market price or to provide superior product, it earns profits. Looking at the screen, here is Porter's value chain model, which he introduced in 1985. So the value chain represents all the internal activities a firm engages in to produce goods and services. So value chain is formed of primary activities that add value to the final product directly and support activities that add value indirectly. So next, we have here the components of a value chain. So the value chain framework is made up of 5 primary activities and 4 secondary activities. Primary activities are activities that go directly into the creation of a product or the execution of a service, including inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and services. So in the primary activities, we have here inbound logistics. Inbound logistics include the receiving, warehousing, and inventory control of a company's raw materials. This also covers our relationships with suppliers. For example, for an e-commerce company, inbound logistics would be the receiving and storing of products from a manufacturer that it plans to sell. Next is operations. It includes procedures for converting raw materials into a finished product or service. This includes changing all inputs to ready them as outputs. In the above e-commerce example, this would include adding labels or branding or packaging several products as a bundle to add value to the product. Outbound logistics. All activities to distribute a final product to consumer are considered outbound logistics. This includes delivery of the product, but also includes storage and distribution systems and can be external or internal. For the e-commerce company above, this includes storing products for shipping and the actual shipping of said products. Marketing and sales. Strategies to enhance visibility and target appropriate customers such as advertising, promotion, and pricing are included in marketing and sales. So basically, this is all activities that help convince a consumer to purchase a company's product or service. So continuing with the example, an e-commerce company may run ads on Instagram or build an email list for email marketing. And last one, we have here services. This includes activities to maintain products and enhance consumer experience, customer service, maintenance, repair, refund, and exchange. For an e-commerce company, this could include repairs or replacements or a warranty. And that concludes our primary activities. The goal of 5 set of activities is to create value that exceeds the cost of conducting that activity, therefore generating a higher profit.
After the discussion of primary activities as one of the components of value chain analysis, secondary activities is also a component of value chain analysis. So what is secondary activities? Secondary activities presently competitive advantage derives from the technological improvement or innovation in business model or process. Therefore, such supports activities as information system, research and development, or general management. Sometimes, they are the most important sources of differentiation advantage. Primary activities are usually the source of cost advantage. On the other hand, secondary activities are almost exclusively internal steps. It helps primary activities become more efficient, effectively creating a competitive advantage. The first part of secondary activities is procurement. It is refers on acquiring raw materials or inputs for the product, managing relationships with suppliers and negotiating prices. Ideally, this should be in sync with marketing, inbound logistics, and operations to source materials on time and cost efficiency that can help to create value. The second one is human resources, wherein all activities involving recruiting, hiring, training, developing, compensating, and dismissing personnel that design to build and distribute the products. The third part of secondary activities is technology development. It means activities which can give the firms speed, accuracy, and quality. This pertains to research and development, process automation, and all other procedures and technical knowledge used to support the value chain activities. It includes equipment, hardware, software, procedures, and technical knowledge used to transform materials into products. The last part of secondary activities is infrastructure. It refers to a company's various departments and administrative functions including accounting, legal, finance, planning, public affairs, government relations, quality assurance, and general management. These are the four secondary activities that consider as the components of value chain analysis.
How to conduct a value chain analysis. There are 3 steps in conducting a value chain analysis. And the first one is to identify the main function and type of firms in the value chain. In identifying the firm's value chain, we must first map out the main activities and services involved in moving the production from the producer to final consumer. We should also understand that there are 2 types of activities, and these are primary and secondary market that go into your product or services, and it is very important to perform this process for each one. The value of the end product to the end consumer has many components, and example of these are price, taste, convenience, image, and many more. Hence, the perspective of value chain and individual firms are competing with each other. The various activities and service adding value to the products are executed by various firms. There are also 3 types of sub-activities in value chain, and these are direct activities, that action gives value to themselves. Indirect activities, it supports the direct activities. Quality assurance, this activity ensures that they meet all the necessary standards. If there are connections between your value activities, you should take time to note of this when conducting your analysis. As an example, targeting the right audience with effective adverts through the most appropriate marketing channel can increase the number of sales you generate. Another example is that the value chain analysis distinguish between small processor using primitive technologies and large processors using a very good equipment. Firms do not take ownership of the product but help add value to it, and they are called service providers.
Step 2. Value chain analysis analyzes how the various firms are structurally connected using the framework depicted in Figure 1. There are 5 structural elements which includes end markets, the business enabling environment, vertical linkages, horizontal linkages, and supporting markets. Value chain analysis starts from an end market analysis which looks at market size and growth rates, market segmentation, consumer behavior, supplier requirements, competitive position which is benchmarking, network relationship, and so on. It is also takes the process of globalization into account. The business enabling environment, both national and global, analysis looks at policy, regulations, trade agreements, and public infrastructure. The analysis of vertical linkages looks at governance mechanism and transaction costs between successive value chain actors. It also includes how information flows and capacity building within the value chain are stimulated. Example given is through embedded services. The analysis of horizontal linkages assesses the degree of collaboration between the value chain actors at the same level in the chain. The value chain actors can, for example, jointly purchase inputs or market outputs and thus benefits from economies of scale and increased bargaining power. Step 3. Value chain analysis analyzes the dynamics that affects how the structure changes over time. The primary factors driving or blocking the dynamics of the value chain includes changes in first, market demand, second, technology, third, available services, fourth, profitability, fifth, risk, sixth, barriers to entry, seventh, large firm behavior, 8. Input supply, and 9. Policy. Change spreads through a number of dynamic elements including upgrading through investment by individual firms, value chain governance, power exercised by firm in their relationship with each other, inter-firm cooperation and competition, and the transfer of information and learning between firms.
So let's move forward to the approaches and how to perform analysis. There are two. These are cost reduction and product differentiation.
What is cost reduction? Cost reduction is a planned positive approach to reduce expenditure. It is a corrective function by continuous process of analysis of costs and functions in application of factors of production. It is to be understood as the achievement of real and permanent reduction in the unit cost of goods manufactured or services rendered without impairing their sustainability for the use intended in the quality of the product. To gain cost advantage, a firm has to go through 5 analysis steps. The first step is to identify the firm's primary and support activities. All the activities from receiving materials up to the after sales of the product have to be clearly identified and separated from each other. This requires a sufficient knowledge of company's operations because value chain activities are not organized in the same way as the company itself. The managers who identify value chain activities have to look into how work is done to deliver customer value. The second step is to establish relative importance of each activity in the total cost of the product. The total cost of producing a product or service must be broken down and assigned to each activity. Activity-based costing is used to calculate cost for each process. Activities that are the major source of cost or done inefficiently when benchmarked against competitors must be addressed first. The third step is to identify cost drivers for each activity. By understanding what factors drive the cost, managers can focus on improving them. Take note that different activities will have different cost drivers. The fourth step is to identify the links between activities. Reduction of costs to one activity may lead to further cost reductions in subsequent activities. Identifying the links between activities will lead to better understanding how cost improvements would affect the whole value chain. But we also have to take note that sometimes cost reduction in one activity may lead to higher costs for other activities. The fifth and last step is to identify opportunities for reducing costs. By identifying inefficient activities and cost drivers, the company can plan on how to improve them. There are many advantages of cost reduction. First is that it can increase profit of the company. It will also help in making goods available to the consumers at cheaper rates. It will be helpful in meeting competition effectively. Next is if there is higher profit, then it will give higher tax revenue for the government. And lastly, it will put emphasis on a continuous search for improvement, which will improve the company's image for long-term benefits. But, on the other hand, there are also disadvantages. Like the quality of the product may be sacrificed so that they can lower the cost of their product. And it is also possible that reduction in cost may not be real and permanent due to some factors like change in the price of the raw materials.
Okay, so in conducting a value chain analysis, companies should consider steps that adds or subtracts value from their final product or service. And one of these is product differentiation, where it is a process used by businesses to distinguish a product or service from other similar ones available in the market. By investing more time and resources into activities like research and development, design, or marketing, it can help their product stand out among similar ones. And there are 3 steps on how to conduct a value chain analysis under product differentiation. Step 1. Identify the customer's value creating activities. After identifying all value chain activities, managers have to focus on those activities that contribute the most to creating customer value. For example, Apple product success is not mainly comes from great product features but from successful marketing activities because other companies have high quality offerings too. And step 2, evaluate the differentiation strategies for improving customer value. Managers can use the following strategies to increase product differentiation and customer value. First, add more product features. Second, focus on customer service and responsiveness. Third, increase customization. And lastly, offer complementary products. And step 3, identify the sustainable differentiation. Usually, superior differentiation and customer value will be the result of many interrelated activities and strategies used. So, the best combination of these two should be used to pursue sustainable differentiation advantage.
The automobile industry has grown into a mature and well-established industry throughout the years. Vehicle manufacture and innovation have aided the industry's growth into a profitable one. This example is partially adapted from R.M. Grant's book, Contemporary Strategy Analysis. This analysis doesn't include support activities, thus the analysis itself is not complete.
The first step is the firm's primary activities, which includes design and engineering, purchasing materials and components, assembly, testing and quality control, sales and marketing, and distribution and dealer support. The step 2 and 3 includes the total cost and importance and the cost drivers. The total cost of design and engineering is $164 million less important, and the cost driver is the number and frequency of new models as well as sales per model. The total cost of purchasing materials and components is $410 million, very important. And the order size, average value of purchases per supplier, and location of suppliers are the cost drivers. The assembly's total cost is $524 million, very important. And the cost drivers are scale of plants, capacity utilization, and location of plants. For the testing and quality control, their total cost is $10 million, not important. The cost drivers are the level of quality targets and the frequency of defects. The total cost of sales and marketing is $384 million, important, with the cost drivers being the size of the advertising budget, the strength of the existing reputation, and sales value. Finally, distribution and dealer support are less important, with a total cost of $230 million, and the cost drivers are the number of dealers, sales per dealer, and the frequency of defects requiring repair recalls. The step 4 is the links between activities. High-quality assembling process reduces defects and costs in quality control and dealer support activities. Locating plants near the cluster of suppliers or dealers reduces purchasing and distribution costs. Fewer model designs reduce assembling costs, higher order sizes increase warehousing costs. And the last step is opportunities for reducing costs. Create just one model design for different regions to cut costs in designing and engineering, to increase order sizes of the same materials, to simplify assembling and quality control processes, and to lower marketing costs. Manufacture components inside the company to eliminate transaction costs of buying them in the market and to optimize plant utilization. This would also lead to greater economies of scale.
Apple Company is an American manufacturer of personal computers, smartphones, tablet computers, computer peripherals, and computer software. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak co-founded Apple in 1976. It was named Apple Computers so as to list it before his previous employer Atari in phone books. Jobs said that name epitomized simplicity and sophistication. The Apple Company implemented a differentiation advantage wherein they are after the development and innovation of their products and services that offer unique and powerful features that are valued by customers. Every time they introduce a newer version of their products, we expect the expensiveness of their products because of the unique and better internal and external features they improve.
Step 1 of this advantage is the customer's value creating activities. Apple's value has been built through voluntary trade with customers. The company has persuaded customers that its products are worth more than those of competitors, and its customers have plainly agreed. Apple's products improve the lives of their customers. People would not part with their hard-earned cash for anything they don't appreciate. They have become successful not only as a result of their excellent product qualities, but also as a result of their consumer-satisfying marketing operations. Step 2 is the improving customer value. Once in a while, Apple companies become popular because of their products and services. While they are innovating and improving their products, they add more features that make their product classy and appealing. Focus on customer service and responsiveness through helping and meeting the needs of the customers. It can be done online through the Apple Support services, or it can be done at the Power Mac Center. It increases customization. For example, the iPhone features a variety of customization options, both in terms of its electronic operation and external accessories that can add a bit of personality to your device. Customization isn't just aesthetic, however, and can be used to protect the iPhone and help to ensure you are properly alerted to incoming communications. And lastly, they offer complementary products that support and add style to their products, like cases for iPhones, AirPods, iPads, and many more. And the last step is the best sustainable differentiation. Despite high competition, Apple has succeeded in creating demand for its products, giving the company power over prices through product differentiation, innovative advertising, ensured brand loyalty, and hype around the launch of new products. By focusing on customers willing to pay more and maintaining a premium price at the cost of unit volume, Apple also set up an artificial entry barrier to competitors. These are examples of cost advantages